guys, it's Jessica from Peace Love Books, and today I'm here with a goals video. I wasn't going to do this, but I know a lot of people are doing their goals for 2021 and they said they like watching them. I haven't watched a lot recently. I'm really behind on booktube videos in general because everybody's been posting like crazy and I follow so many people, but I thought I'd share some and then go watch their videos. I also don't like watching videos of ones I'm gonna do because I don't want that to inadvertently skew my answers and then all I have are other people's answers stuck in my head and I don't have a unique video and authentic video, so I always wait to watch videos that I know I'm gonna post until I film it and then I can go watch them. So I do want to watch a lot of my good friends videos, so I am excited to go watch those after I film this video. But I'm here with my goals. A big thing about goals, and actually we teach this to our students, is they have to be actionable and you have to have an actual action ready for the goal, and it has to be specific. You can't just say, I want to read this year. Cool, you want to read this year. You need to set a definite number. How are you going to achieve that? And so a lot of my goals, I have definite numbers for it, and I also have specific things I want to do in order to achieve these goals. So the first ones are numbers, and I don't necessarily have specific things to achieve these goals other than trying to be as engaging as possible and consistent. I've never had a problem with consistency. I've been doing 3 videos a week pretty much consistently all year, if not more than that, especially over the holidays. I was posting a video a day because I was on break, so I wasn't teaching, and then I had a break from my master's, so I had a lot of free time. I had 3 weeks off from my master's, starting up again this week. I only have 2 more classes left and I'm done in March, so you will hear me shouting about finishing my master's in March. But I have some numbers goals, and I think they're the ones you're most interested in. What numbers do I want to achieve this year? So I just reached 40,000 in the first week of January. It was my reach goal to get 40,000 at the end of December and it just didn't happen, but then my Bridgerton content was helping me get some more followers, so I finally reached 40,000, which I'm very excited for. And my goal for 2021 is to reach, it's a reach goal, 60,000 by the end of the year. I think that is manageable for me. I do see people who were around where I was at like 30K, almost to 60K, way past 60K. It just depends on if YouTube is pushing your videos and if people want to watch you. So I think I can reach 60,000. I really hope so. I think 20,000 in the year is manageable. I just have to do more engaging things for my channel, which does go into another goal of mine, which I'll just go ahead and say it now, is to still do videos for me. I, if you've noticed, have been posting a crazy amount of historical romance videos because that's what makes me happy right now. That's what I'm so into right now. It's all I want to read because Bridgerton came out. I became obsessed with the show. I had already binged all the books, and so I've been doing a lot of videos for historical romance. It's really all I want to read right now. And then I've been getting comments saying, hey, like, it's fine you're posting this, but like, we're tired of it, basically is what they're implying. And it makes me feel guilty for reading what I want to read, and I posted my frustrations on Twitter and everyone's like, you know, we'd rather watch you be excited and happy about something than trying to force yourself to read things you know people want just for views. And I've done, I think, a pretty good job at reading what I want on my channel. Obviously I'm romance and I've been reading romance and it hasn't gotten me the views and subscribers. I've been on here for 6 years and just reached 40,000 subscribers, which it's taken me a long time to get there, so I have never shied away from reading what I want to read versus what BookTube grows and what they want to see. But I do think, like, I know if I posted a dark romance reading vlog that get a ton of views, but it's like, I do want to read dark romances soon, but I want to read all these historicals right now, so I need to stay true to myself and just remember to read what makes me happy and not get too caught up in what I know people are going to want me to read. So read what makes me happy. That is a goal of mine in 2021, especially with the pressure of trying to get subscribers with my goal that I have. So yeah. I don't know how much you care about my Instagram, but I did just reach 18,000 on Instagram, which is super, super exciting. Bridgerton Netflix actually shared one of my stories, and I got like over 200 followers in a day, which is very rare. Julia Quinn has shared some of my Instagram posts, and she follows me, but she's blown up in subscribers as well, so people from that ended up following me too, and so I have grown more than I thought I would in the past like 2 weeks, and I'd love to reach 25,000 by the end of the year. Instagram is a lot slower to grow, and so I'd love to reach 25,000 by the end of the year on my Instagram. I post every day. I've been posting, like I said, a lot of historical romance stuff. I just love Instagram. I love the community there. It's just so positive and excited about romance. So follow me on Instagram if you don't, but my goal, I have 18.1 now. I'm almost at 18.2 followers on Instagram, so my goal is to reach 25,000 on there by the end of the year. Those are my only numbers goals. So the next goals are all reading goals, and I've set my Goodreads reading challenge to 150. I do that every year, but I read over 340 books last year, and that's what, I mean, okay, so I was busier because I started my master's literally January. First week of January I started my master's last year, but we had the pandemic. I was working from home for an entire quarter, and it wasn't like, I had a lot of more time. I wasn't teaching daily because we changed what we were doing in the spring from what we were doing in the fall, and so they were doing an online program, and I just had to be in charge of grading and communicating with students and reaching out to parents, and so I wasn't working like from 7 to 3 like I do every day. So like non-stop, I could read throughout the day, and then I also wasn't going anywhere. And in the summer, again, not that busy. I was doing my master's, but then I was also just reading a lot because we weren't going anywhere. We were literally locked down for a while, and then I listened to a lot of audiobooks. This past year was a year I listened to the most audiobooks I ever have, and I started listening to them to and from school. Before, I would only listen to them on the way home from school because I'd listen to the radio on the way there. I got tired of the DJs that were on the radio I was listening to, so I just listened to the audiobooks there and back, and so I read a lot. I think I can read over 250 this year, so I might be changing my Goodreads goal to 250 instead of 150. I feel like 150 is like, yes, I'm gonna pass that. I know I'm gonna read more than 150 books this year. I've already read 7 books, and I'm filming this on the 9th, so I'm gonna do 150, absolutely no problem. So I might change it to 250 just to challenge myself. I like having a challenge for myself. I like having that definite number I want to reach. It's not stressful to me, so that's why I set it. So that's my goal for 2021. Breaking down the kind of books I want to read, I do want to read at least 3 young adult books every month. Now, all of the goals I set numbers wise are kind of the bare minimum, and I actually want to reach over that goal. So I think I have read 3 already in January, and it's only the 9th. So I do want to read at least 3 YA because, as you guys know, I'm a romance reader, but I'm a teacher. I teach high school, and so I always want to be reading the books that I can recommend to my students or ones they recommend to me, and so I want to keep up a lot of times on new releases for young adult. There are so many amazing, diverse young adult books coming out this year that I'm so stinking excited for. I will link my 2021 releases that I'm excited for down below. I had a lot of adult romances on there, but honestly, a ton of them were just young adult books that look absolutely fantastic. I just also finished listening to Monday's Not Coming by Tiffany D. Jackson. One of the hardest books I've ever read, like, to get through, because it was just so heavy and chilling and raw. You'll see my feelings in my wrap up, but I do want to continue reading really impactful books like that, but also really happy books. So I read Happily Ever Afters, and Elise Bryant, I think, is the author, and it was just the most adorable book I've ever read, and I absolutely loved it. I gave it 5 stars. So I'd love to read both hard-hitting and light romantic YA books, so I need to read at least 3 a month. That's my goal. My goal is to also read at least 1 nonfiction book a month, so my reach goal is 2. Like, I want to push myself to read 2, but I want to read at least 1 a month. I realized I was being very hypocritical in the fact that I didn't read nonfiction because I felt like I didn't like it and it was boring. And I teach 2 periods of guided reading, so I teach the struggling readers, and they hate reading, and they're like, it's boring, I don't like it. Even my honors kids. So I teach honors and guided reading and yearbooks, so I have the top performing kids in our school and the lowest performing when it comes to reading. So I have 3rd and 4th grade reading level, and I have college age reading level that I see throughout the day. And even anybody in any of my classes, I'll have kids say, reading's boring, I hate it. And I was literally saying the same thing about nonfiction. I was being so hypocritical with myself because I always tell them, well, you haven't found the right book. What kind of books do you think you'd be interested in? Let's look at the kind of shows you like. What kind of topics do you like? And we try to work out trying to find them a book that they'll like. What kind of format do you like? And so I have to do the same with nonfiction. I need to read nonfiction of topics I care about that I'm interested in, and in a kind of narrative structure. I don't like factual nonfiction. I really like it telling a story. I read Into Thin Air and I was just captivated by that book because I'm obsessed with Mount Everest for some reason. I love climbing stories and I loved how it was told like a story. The beginning was hard for me to get through because it was very factual, but then halfway through and on for that book, it was literally just like the story of them climbing the mountain and getting to the top and back down, and I was just captivated. So I did ask recommendations for nonfiction books on my Instagram. I have a ton checked out from the library. That's another goal that I'll get to, but I do want to read a lot more nonfiction about topics I care about. So I've gotten a few mountain climbing ones. I do have, like, Crystal from Crystal's Bookish Life told me to read this, so I got this. And I do have some that are about race and other issues. So people told me I need to read Know My Name, which is about the woman who was raped by Brock Turner, which I think is just a really important story, and that I think I'll be fascinated by reading this. I got Hood Feminism from the library, and that is one of my goals, is to read from the library as well for specific goals I have. For nonfiction is typically really expensive, and so I want to get my nonfiction books from the library because I know I'm not going to reread these nonfiction books. So I also got my Ravished by Romance pick from the library because I need to stop just buying books to buy them. So a goal is to get more from the library when I do specific TBR videos. So I am going to do Reading BookTube's Worst Books of 2020. I got most of them from the library and from my library's audiobook service, Libby, so I'm not buying a single book for that video. I think I need to be better about buying books, especially because I want to buy more historicals for my collection, and I don't need to buy books just for videos. I need to stop that. So yes, nonfiction and library are two huge goals of mine this year. Talking about diversity or reading inclusive books, so that includes race, experience, sexuality, anything like that. I do want to read at least a third. My actual goal is half, but I have to get at least a third of the authors and books I read are inclusive stories. And so far, I think I've read 5 out of the 7 that I've read have been diverse stories. And I do want to use the language more inclusive because they are including other experiences that need to be told. So they could be plus size characters, they can be characters of color, they can have different experiences than me, they can have disabilities. I've actually read 8 books so far, and 5 of the books have been inclusive stories. So they've all had authors of color, and they range from young adult to adult romance, and so I think so far I'm doing what I want to do. How I actually achieve this is that at all times one book I'm reading has to be an inclusive story. So it's either the audiobook I'm listening to or the book I'm currently reading. A lot of times the book I'm currently reading at school during my lunch break or during my reading periods with my guided reading kids is going to be a diverse inclusive book. So I do have that kind of goal set with that specific action set to achieve that goal. And so I usually am reading at least 3 books at a time. So if one book is always something that is diverse, then I will achieve my goal of reading at least a third of books being diverse. And I set that goal because I never really set a goal before. So I want to make that a specific number goal. Of course, I want to get better throughout the year. So a third reach goal, a half to this year, and then next year it could be a half is my minimum goal, and I don't know what's going to be my reach goal next year, but making sure that I can achieve that this year. I do think it's important to set an actual numerical goal instead of just saying I want to read diversely, because are you going to achieve that? How are you going to achieve that? What does your reading diversely actually mean? So that is my goal this year as well, reading both young adult and adult romances, and indie romances especially. I also want to read more lesser known authors. I want to be able to discover authors that I can recommend to you guys, not reading the same popular authors that everybody's recommending, so that when I recommend like my favorite historical romances or my favorite indie published romances, I'm not saying, oh, go read Kennedy Ryan, go read Julia Quinn, go read Lisa Kleypas. Like, you guys all know who those authors are. So I really want to branch out and discover lesser known authors that I love that I could recommend to you. So I am going to make it a goal to try to read books that I don't see everywhere, that I see some people raving about, like that I follow, but I don't see absolutely hyped on BookTube and Bookstagram. I also want to be part of at least one readathon a month, or like participate in it, whether I'm hosting it myself or someone else is hosting it. So first in January, I'm definitely participating in the Historical Romance Readathon. I'm hosting with Lisa and Lacey. Lacey and Lisa do host the Lunar New Year Readathon, and they hosted it last year, and I didn't participate because I think I was busy that weekend, but this year it is going to be in February, so I'm gonna participate in that, and then we'll see what other readathons are going on throughout the year and what I participate in, but I really love participating in readathons, so I will see what's happening. And so I know for sure February and January I have a readathon that I am participating in, so I want to make sure I'm participating in things in the book community. Speaking of that, I do want to make sure I upkeep my 2 book clubs I host. I host the Historical Hellions with Samantha from Books with Samantha and Ravished by Romance with Lacey from Lacey Book Lovers, and we are reading romances in both of those. So Historical Hellions is all about old historicals. We're reading Night Song by Beverly Jenkins, and then Ravished by Romance we're reading Rebecca Weatherspoon, A Cowboy to Remember. And so I want to make sure I'm keeping up with both of those book clubs. My friends also that I hosted the Julia Quinn Bridgerton read-along, Binging Bridgerton readathon with, they are hosting different series read-alongs throughout the year, and their first series is the Victorian Rebel series by Kerrigan Byrne, and I am going to join them a couple of live shows, and so I haven't read 2 of the books in that series, so I think I'm going to join them at least for one of those weeks. And I want to reread The Highwayman, so I'm going to try to little dabble in their readathon as well. And so just trying to be as involved in the romance community. Another big goal of mine is to get involved with other creators. I absolutely love finding new people on BookTube, specifically the romance community. The romance community, though, I feel like, I don't know how else to say this, but I feel like because I'm one of the largest romance creators behind Riley from Riley Marie and Laura from Layla Like Laura, we are the most followed romance exclusive channels. And now Riley does dabble in other genres, but she is well known for being a romance reader. I think that people are afraid to like ask me to join things, and like Carrie from Book for Romance, thank goodness she reached out and asked me if I want to do the Binging Bridgerton readathon with them, because she was like nervous to ask me, and I was like, of course I want to, because Carrie and I were acquaintances then. We'd talked and I watched her videos, and I'm happy she asked because I said yes, and then it was a blast being able to meet new people in the community and becoming friends with all of them that I did the Bridgerton readathon with. And I feel like people I'm like semi-friends with and we chat don't want to ask me because they'll think I'll say no because I'm bigger, but it doesn't mean I'm better than them. I would love to hang out with them and do things with them, do live shows. Like, I'm not really ever asked to do other live shows with people. I always do them, or it's like Lisa and Lacey are doing them and then I join in with them. So I'd love to participate with other people. Ask me and I'll probably see if I have room and want to join in. If you're having a live show, I'd love to join. So just remember though, I am a teacher, so it's not like I can do like explicit stuff, but if you're keeping it PG-13, I'd love to join. So that's a goal of mine, is to get more involved with other creators, maybe do more live shows every month. I'd love to do more lives with authors as well, especially on Instagram. I have one coming up in January. I'm doing one with Kerrigan Byrne for the Historical Romance Readathon. I'd love to maybe do one a month. I started my first one ever with Eloisa James, and that was set up through the publisher, but I'd love to like celebrate authors who have a release and do an Instagram live with them or something. So just getting more involved with authors and other members in the community, I would love to do that. And those are all my goals. I honestly thought this was going to be like a 10-minute video, but I talked really long. Let me know what your goals are and how you're going to achieve those goals. I would really love to hear, and that's all I have. As always, thank you so much for watching and have a good day.